Hey darlings, it is author and narrator Kira Joel, and today I'm going to do a random topic. It's going to be... This is not going as smoothly as I would have liked. Dreadlocks, or locks, depending on your preference. So I have people who will get curious about my hair, and there are some people that can get a little bit crabby or weird if you ask them about their hair. I am not one of them, and so I wanted to explain how do dreadlocks work, because people get curious, and I didn't even know how they worked before I had them. So I have hair that is, I always call it black people hair, which is interesting because I grew up like with all white people, but I'm part black. So my hair is very curly, very kinky, and my kind of hair, all you have to do for making dreadlocks or locks is basically get all the sections going. So you separate all these little sections out, and then you just work on keeping them separate. And then over maybe like 8 to 12 months, give or take, maybe 6 if you are lucky, they will start to form into dreadlocks. So it's basically like a controlled tangle, if that makes sense. So each one, it just all weaves together till it's its own little matrix. And then as it grows, like the new growth is going to be like regular hair. So it's not going to be in that matrix. It's just going to be normal. So if I were to like cut a lock off, maybe, I don't know, an inch, half an inch from my scalp, it would just be regular hair. It wouldn't be locked up. But as it grows, it just naturally tangles together. And so all I have to do is just once in a while, maybe like retwist and make sure they're not trying to grow together. So it's an awesome kind of hairstyle because you don't have to do a lot of maintenance. When you first start them, you have to be so careful because you don't want them to come apart. So what I did is I went to a loctician, and she just separated out each section and twirled them with like a little comb. And I think she put some sort of product in there to help kind of hold them together. And I've only seen her like 2, 3, 4 times, but I just kind of maintain them myself. And then I already had short hair on the sides. So every couple weeks I just have my love buzz the sides, keep the sides nice and short. But that's how locks work for people who might have like white people hair or hair that's just not as curly. What you have to do is basically like back comb. So it can take like 12, 14 hours, like a long time to get dreads if you do not have my kind of hair. Because basically the person is making that tangle at that moment, whereas my hair, it's just separating out the sections and you're just waiting. So mine are 7 years old. Just had my anniversary not too long ago. So yeah, I love them. They're so easy. They're awesome. I wash them about once a week, which is about how often I washed my hair generally to begin with, because my kind of hair, you don't want to like over wash it. Like some people might be like, oh my gosh, but my kind of hair doesn't get oily or anything. Like I've always thought it was interesting when people are like, oh, I didn't wash my hair today and it's all oily. I'm like, what? Like my hair just absorbs anything. Like my hair never gets oily. But yeah, they always I feel like they always smell good. And like, I like, I feel like mine are clean. I know that can be a stereotype that they can be nasty, but no, I wash mine frequently. I know some people do less. There is a really cool lady called, I think it's Yanni the Lockologist, who has a lot of really good stuff out there. And according to her, I do the most with my hair, which I do not need to do. I probably do more than I should. But luckily, like, I don't have any like receding issues, or like, I mean, they're healthy and I like how they're at. So it makes me happy. I use this kind of soap, and I don't even know if I'm supposed to be using it for locks, but it's been working well. I don't even remember what it's called. Darn it. It's like a bar soap made with like special rice. I don't even remember. It was from a Facebook ad. That's supposed to help with like grays and keeping your hair like healthy and stuff. And I'm like 35, and once in a while I'll see like just like a little gray hair here or there, and I'm like, I'm only 30. No, I'm 34 actually. I haven't had my birthday yet, but I'm like, I'm only 34. I don't want to have gray hairs. And it's like I said, it's very rare. But when I notice one, because my hair's pretty dark, so I got this stuff, and actually I feel like it makes my hair relatively soft and a little bit like shinier. I felt like it was really dull before. So you also have to be so careful with the cleaners you use. So I'm like, I hope I'm not doing something bad by using the shampoo bar soap thing that I use, but they do seem fine. The cool thing is they're very easy to braid as well. So yeah, I'm a fan. I like them. They make me happy. I have been having interesting times because I felt like my mohawk part was too narrow, so I actually like grew out hair here, like on the sides, and I've been trying to like incorporate it in, so if it looks funky, that's why. It's like I actually try to like get them in there so it's just like a little bit wider, because it's like very narrow. Like I see a lot of people with mohawks and they're like so much wider. Not that that has anything to do with my locks. Another thing I was gonna say is the name is, some people do not like the term dreadlock because they're like, my hair is not dreadful. And I've Googled it, and I've seen, because Googling is the way to do things, it's always so accurate, but I've seen things that will say like, yes, people were like, oh, your hair's dreadful and gross and that's why they're dreadlocks. But I've also heard some people say, no, it's like dread as in awe, like the fearful dread you would have of the Lord, like that kind of dread, like the like that kind of dread. So not necessarily a bad kind. So I've heard it both ways, and I don't get offended if people call my hair dreadlocks. I'm like, that's fine. I usually just call them locks, but I feel like that can be confusing because technically, like, a person could have long flowing locks, and that could just mean regular hair. So I'm good with both. And then the only other thing I can think of that people might ask is like, what do they feel like? And I don't know. I feel like kind of like thick yarn. Is that weird? Thick yarn. Like it's kind of woolly in a way. Does that make sense? I don't know why this one's like I don't know, it's sitting weird. But yeah, so that's about my hair, and that's how locks work. Trying to think if there's anything else you would want to know if you leave me a comment. Another thing, lint, I suppose, is a thing I could talk about. I know some people have problems with lint. The only time I notice it is like sometimes at the very bottoms. I'll get like these little spots of lint, but luckily they're pretty easy to pull off. I feel like dyeing them is very difficult. Oh, that's another thing. I actually twice bleached them. Bad idea, generally speaking, because over time they just like the ends want to pop off. Luckily, a lot of the bleach stuff has kind of grown out. Like some of my tips are a little bit lighter colored, but I thought it looked cool. But yeah, the amount of damage, and I feel like you have used so much to get it all encompassed, and like over time I felt like it just didn't look good. Like I don't know. So I would say maybe don't bleach them. I feel like was it Mystique Naturals? Am I making that up? Another Facebook ad for like toxin-free hair dye stuff that just kind of sits over your locks. So someday I might try that. Why is this one's just feeling very disrespectful today. It's just like I don't know. But yeah. So that's what I would suggest, is if you have locks or thinking of getting locks and you're like, I'm going to bleach them. Maybe not. Might not be a great idea. But yeah, that's my hair. Thanks for listening. Okay, bye.